am back with another Kit Conspiracy all mixed up layout, and I have chosen from the Elena collection this washi tape, and then from the No Limits collection I picked out several of these chipboard pieces, button epoxy pieces, and the cardstock images. I just don't know which ones I'm going to use, so I picked out a bunch. I also picked out this item number card right here, so forgot about that one. And then from the Lakeside collection, I fussy cut out these leaves from the sticker sheet, and then I have the foam stickers as well as the faux brads. I found another piece from the No Limits collection. From the garden, that's the sticker sheet from the No Limits collection. I didn't realize that everything was out of order. From the Farmhouse Garden collection, I've got my faux brads as well as the thickers. And then also from the Lakeside, I have this little scrap of green, and then both of the sticker sheets from that, the cardstock stickers. I'm pretty impressed with how much I've actually used. And then I also pulled in this green here from the Farmhouse Garden collection. So I think I'm going to end up using that green as opposed to the brighter green. I just think it goes with my layout a little bit better. From the Elena collection, I have this light blue paper picked out. And then again, from the No Limits collection, I chose this Stardust paper. Now, I don't know exactly how this layout is going to look just yet, but these are the items that I picked out, so I'm going to make it work. I'm going to do a double page layout using 5 photos that I don't think I actually showed you. I think I set them off to the side, but here are my 5 photos, and they are of metal dinosaurs that we found in front of a casino at Ely. And so my parents wanted to go, I think it's the Prospector. In all honesty, I think the casino is called the Prospector. And we pulled up, and there are these metal dinosaurs, and I just could not wait to go take pictures, no matter how freezing cold we were. I took pictures until my finger was so numb that my phone did not recognize the fact that I was pushing buttons. Off camera, I went and I trimmed down all of my photos, and then I finally decided how I was going to cut my paper to get it to spread across a 2-page layout. So I'm just going to pretend that the left side goes underneath my photos instead of it actually going underneath my photos. And then I took that green paper and cut it down to 4x6, and then I cut my photos 1/4 of an inch smaller, so that way, of course, I can do some distressing around the edges of my photo mat just to give it a little bit of lift. And of course, we're talking about dinosaurs. I have to have some torn paper somewhere. All right, so from this No Limits paper, I am going to cut 2 1-inch strips and then end up ripping them in half. Of course, I think about it for a minute of, well, I need 4 strips. Well, no, if I rip them in half, I'm going to get 4 strips. So it takes me a little minute. And then I debated for a very long time as to whether or not cut my paper down. But I have to tell you guys, every time that I do cut my paper down to, say, 8 inches, 10 inches, whatever, it always seems to be like a 1/16 inch shy. Does anybody else have that issue? So I chose to go ahead and leave them at 12 inches and then glue them down, and then I will cut them to make sure that they actually fit. But every time I try to make 2 pieces of paper, 2 strips of paper match, they seem to always be a little off. It just must be me. And then from this Elena fabric washi, I'm going to tear a strip off and then rip it in half. And I'm going to do that for both sides. But it's very boring watching me put this down. Plus, you can't hardly see it. So I'm going to fast forward. And in the meantime, I also decide that it's too much blue. And so I pick out a super thin gray striped washi to add between my 2 blue strips. I just pulled that out of my stash. I think it's a Batman washi set that I got. I don't put Batman on this layout, but I use the coordinating washi tape. Okay, so I'm going to put my first 2x8 strip 2 inches above and below the top border, if you guys even care. And then for the photo mats, actually in between gluing my photo mats together, I decided to pull out my dinosaur bin. Yes, I have a bin just for dinosaur layouts because it's my favorite thing to scrapbook, and I'm running out of photos fast. I need excuses on scrapbooking dinosaurs. So I go through my stash and I pull out some acrylic dinosaur pieces. Now, these used to be in the Some Assemblage Required shop. They have been long sold out. And then, of course, the skull has also been sold out from the Some Assemblage Required Etsy shop. So I apologize about that. But I am going to be adding those acrylic pieces in with my other elements just to kind of personalize this page and make it to where it has a little bit more interest to it. So for my top and bottom photo, I only put adhesive down at the very bottom, so that way I can tuck my washi strip and my paper strip behind it. I'm not worried about going back over and actually gluing the top, because once I start adding my embellishments, they're going to be secured enough. I'm totally not even worried about going back through and making sure that the top and the bottom of those photos are secured. Just not even. Actually, I forget about it because that's how quick and easy it is to forget. So I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing over on the right side, only I don't have any photo mats that I have to go behind. But instead of using a ruler, I'm just going to line up my papers, because this Close to My Heart white cardstock sometimes is about a 32nd of an inch, and I know that's a microscopically small inch. They're off, and it depends on how you rotate your paper. I don't even want to worry about it. So what I do is I just line up my two edges and make sure that they're straight across instead of doing my ruler, because if it is that nth of an inch off, then it just messes it up. So I eyeball it, you guys. Plus, when you have that gap in the middle of your layout or in the middle of your album, nobody's going to notice. In all honesty, I just notice it, and it drives me nuts when I'm creating the layout. So that's what I do to avoid it. Okay, so here's my acrylic pieces that I'm going to add. I love that little dino skull because it kind of matches the roaring dinosaur up at the top. So picked that out. I had two choices of skulls to choose from, and this one matched the most. And then I'm just going to, I also pulled out two little greeneries that I had left over from gosh knows where. I lay out several years ago probably, or several months ago, who knows. So right now I'm just going to go through and pull off all the stickers and all the elements that I think I'm going to use. And actually, I believe I end up using them all. In all honesty, I get so excited when I actually use everything on the wax paper when I pull it off. That was my youngest son's finger, by the way, if you guys were interested. He didn't realize that I was just sticking everything on the washi as a placeholder. They didn't need to be all stuck down, but he was making sure it wasn't going to go anywhere. I enjoy it when my kids come in and kind of watch from behind. Over, they're like off to the side and over my shoulder watching me create. I get a little bit of their input. They get excited to see it all come together. It makes me feel good that they actually are interested in watching these come together like this. So it's kind of neat. It doesn't bother me at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay everything down in clusters that I feel like are going to work. I'm definitely glad that I added that extra leaf, because then it helps the other leaves that I brought in from the Lakeside collection become prehistoric leaves. In a way, I felt like that it just all made it all come together, the dinosaurs and the leaves and all that stuff. I really do like how this layout comes together, in all honesty. But yeah, I'm just going to go through, and I am going to combine a sticker and a thicker as my title. So it's Explore Outdoors. I know it kind of doesn't make any sense, but to me it does. It is what it is. And then down at the bottom, right underneath my daughter's picture, it says, the little ticket says Discover, and the little nameplate says Little Adventure. And then, of course, I added grateful, because I am very grateful that my kids indulge me in these, these little whims of things, honestly. So from the No Limits collection, I brought out all those little stars, and I wasn't sure which stars I wanted to add, so I picked out the ones that best matched the layout that I had in mind. And once I got done finishing this layout, or almost completing it, I decided on the yellow stars instead of the bluey stars because of the fact that I had a lot of blue already on this layout. And I do like the contrast and the addition of adding all of this yellow to the layout. I feel like it really grounds the layout, or it's like a contrasting color type of deal. So I really like that addition. I also have to tell you guys that off camera, I added that larger leaf underneath my title and another arrow that I had on the layout, but I didn't have on the layout, if that makes any sense. So here are the close-ups. I want to thank you guys so very much for hanging out with me today. I did cut out all of the gluings of the downs of all this stuff because honestly, it was just watching me place it all back down together. So here's where you can see where I added that extra blue arrow, and then I also added that leaf underneath my title. I did end up ripping the paper just a little bit, but honestly, you can't really see it, and I do love that addition of that leaf. It fit in there absolutely perfect. I wish I would have remembered before actually gluing it all down, but it is what it is, and I really like how it turned out. Thank you again for hanging out with me today. Please be sure to check out Janet Fritz's channel, who is Galaxy Girl Creations here on YouTube, to see how she is mixing up her kit today. I have been enjoying watching us use up these kits other than, what their intention is, like Lakeside and the farmhouse one. So I'm enjoying this very, very much. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me again, and I will check y'all later. Bye.